All right, we're good to go.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the June 21 meeting of the Technical Transportation Committee. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from May 17. And I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved in second. Any discussion, notation of any corrections necessary? Okay, all right. Then I'll proceed for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
That was unanimous, so the minutes have been approved. So our next item is access permits. Bill?
So I will admit I have not reviewed them in advance this time. So I will say I cannot speak to any of them. And if someone who does read through them, if you have any questions, just give me a call and I will be better prepared next time.
Okay. All right, well, we will flow with that.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the APC progress report. We'll begin with the MPO update. Is Ryan here? With township plans.
Thank you. Brian O'Gara, Area Plan Commission. This is the only slide I think we have, right? We have one more? Okay. Yeah, so that's right for both sides, both townships, okay. So about a little less than a year ago, the county commissioners passed a resolution authorizing APC to do a formal comprehensive plan amendment for the unincorporated townships of Wabash and Tippecanoe, which the main event there is a future land use plan. And in this instance, we also included transportation improvements as well, folding in things that had been on our transportation planning books for a long time, and essentially almost kind of pre-engineering them to a certain extent in terms of preferred routes and so forth. And so the process has been meeting essentially monthly. We had a kind of a kickoff public input event, a series of events that took place earlier this year, and then the steering committee that has been assembled of various stakeholders, of individuals chosen by our elected officials, representing diverse groups from just homeowners to home builders to sewers, et cetera. So these folks have been meeting monthly, and this past month we debuted our draft future land use plan with the future transportation improvements in place. The two go hand in hand, and so they each drive each other. So I just wanted to kind of debut it here. What the direction this is going in is we'll be having another meeting next week, actually, with our steering committees, both in Tippecanoe and in Wabash, to kind of, they've had about a month to chew on this plan. And so the different colors represent different categories of land use intensity, or leaving things more rural, agrarian, et cetera. There's the legend. And then the transportation improvements are listed there. Obviously, the main event is the extension of US 231, and all of these transportation improvement paths were essentially laid down by Doug Pode, who in our office certainly has had the most experience with this over the years. And so this is sort of an opportunity to take those very far away shots of future routes. Maybe one day we'll do this and actually zero in a little bit closer. So the preferred path for US 231 extended is essentially designed to take down the fewest homes as possible. That was essentially the call to Doug, was to try to design a route that achieves the proper interchange distance from the Battleground interchange, and essentially achieving the long planned path going all the way to 43, and again, while minimizing the amount of roofs that would have to come down. So, so the rest of the routes or road improvements are more or less kind of connected with that major facility coming in. And so there are roads that get truncated, realigned as this limited access road makes its way through the area. So the little red dots that are there, these are just, again, this is more of a future land use plan with the roads inside. Those are just areas of potential commercial development activity because of the major crossroads that are being created. And so we just sort of call out a nebulous area where commercial development might be able to take place. Obviously, a new interchange with I-65 would be a no-brainer for highway commercial business. So this sort of shows the Wabash Township. I believe the next slide shows Tippecanoe Township. So in context there. The main thrust behind this plan is obviously the incredible growth pressure happening in northern Wabash Township and western Tippecanoe Township. So along that kind of path is where we were centering on things. But obviously we're taking care of the rest of the townships as well, township spaces as well, so that everything's accounted for. What's going on alongside this plan is actually a plan amendment to the town of Battleground. They have an old town plan from the late 1990s that they were interested in updating. So they kind of joined the party. And so we have a steering committee. The Tippecanoe Battleground Steering Committee is sort of working jointly because Battleground does have designs to want to grow and expand and annex in the future. And so, so they've had a pretty strong say in what goes on kind of near and around their current town limits. West Lafayette itself was not part of the process. The west side essentially is focusing more on neighborhood-based plans. They're not necessarily interested in a citywide master plan. And they already have several neighborhood-based plans and corridor plans to their name, the US 231 corridor within the city limits, the New Chauncey neighborhood, the West Lafayette downtown plan. So we got an early read from city staff that they were fine just being a fly on the wall with this, with respect to this effort, and they have a seat at our steering committee, but they're going to just kind of focus on more neighborhood-based planning. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Also, they're transportation related. Obviously, Doug can kind of speak to what he's drawn for us if you have anything specific to the roads, but I'd be happy to answer anything else. So otherwise, the trajectory this is on, based on the early reception by the steering committee, they were really didn't have too many criticisms of the future land use plan. So I'm assuming there may just be some minor tweaks to it. And then we'll essentially have a working draft probably, by the end of the summer easily. And which, so we'll likely open up a public comment process that usually lasts about a month. Probably do another handful of dog and pony shows before we finally come back to the Plan Commission for approval. And then the last stop will be at the commissioners meeting where they'll adopt the plan. And then the town of Battleground, its own plan will go to the town council. So thanks very much.
Thank you. The next item is proposed new adjusted urban area boundary. Doug will speak to us.
Good afternoon. Within your packet, you will find a map of what we are proposing to be the new adjusted urban area boundary. If you can see the pink highlighted area, that is the 2020 census boundary, and the proposed adjusted urban boundary does incorporate all of it. If you remember back earlier this year, we did show a map of what the existing boundary is, and it was extensively larger. So based on a lot of comments, Some areas were actually pulled back from that, and actually we had some reduction. Stu has on his radar some various projects that are on the boundary of this, and the decision was let's try to tap some additional federal funds from NDOT, specifically Group 4 funding, instead of just relying all on our Group 2 funding. So we did pull it back in certain areas. It does include all of West Lafayette, all of Lafayette, and all of Battleground and Dayton. And we are hoping, first of all, to present that to you today, which we are doing right now, and then based on your comments and feedback, make changes if necessary, and then send it to NDOT for their review, and then going back and forth between them and us, and hopefully come up with something similar, or hopefully they just accept this. And then when that is settled, we will bring it back to this committee for approval and then to the policy board. So we are moving forward. So are there any comments, questions regarding the boundary?
Thank you. Well done.
Thank
So,
you.
Doug, maybe one thing, if you could just kind of cover what happened with Battleground?
Yes, if you see the pink area, it does not include the town of Battleground. In previous years or census, plural, it did include the town, and since the town of Battleground is significant size, we felt it was important to keep them included in this. So that was one of our goals, is actually to keep this. So working with Stu in terms of what he would like to see out and in, we do have a little narrow pinch point, but as you can see, we have North 9th Street actually outside, a portion of Burnett's Road inside, and then River Road, and that River Road, Burnett's Road intersection outside. So with this, we are keeping the town within the adjusted urban area boundary.
So
I never asked about that. I mean, I know we went around that. It has to be contiguous to have them in there. And this is fundamentally to allow them to use Group 2 money?
Basically, yes. Since they are the largest town in the county, I don't remember what the specific 2020 census population was, but since they are, we felt it was important to actually keep them in. I think it was, I don't remember the number offhand, like 1,800 people, but I know I could be wrong. But they are larger than Dayton, actually Shadeland, Otterburn, and so forth. So we felt, at least in our office, that it was important to keep them within.
Keep them in that funding area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have they ever expressed an interest in using any Group 2?
At the present time, no, but they have in the past. For example, Railroad Street was reconstructed, and they did use our Group 2 funding. And then they also did a project after that along their main street in terms of addressing drainage, sidewalks, and then basically updating all of that and then bring it into ADA compliance. So they've actually had, at least in my 30-plus years, have actually had 2 federal aid projects. I know they would like to, sometime in the future, do a couple additional projects, and then maybe a trail project. So
I knew they did leaned on CCMG pretty heavily. I didn't know they did Group 2. Thank you. Again, thank you for the efforts here at getting us
appreciate it.
as much Group 4 as we could. I appreciate it.
all right. There are no further questions for him regarding that. Doug, you can move on to US Bike Route 37.
I'd like to give everybody an update. It's kind of an interesting soap opera saga. As you heard, NDOT did submit the application to AASHTO for their review in the submittal, the NDOT commissioner did not sign the application. Since then, NDOT held their public, basically awareness or whatever you would like to call it, for just 2 short weeks. And they did receive some comments. We think they did. But anyway, while that was occurring, AASHTO did have or held their public or their meeting, and in the specific meeting where the committee reviewed the U.S. bike routes, Bike Route 37 was reviewed, and it did receive provisional approval. So if the commissioner did sign it, it would have been an official bike route. However, since that occurred, the central office decided at this time to basically withdraw the application. According to an email I received regarding what was sent to AASHTO, they decided to postpone the official designation, and all it was said was receive some insightful suggestions and concerns. We did receive a further more informative email and received a number of comments citing safety, misconnections to other routes, modes of transportation, and amenities, which is kind of interesting because I sent them a fairly extensive spreadsheet of all of the other transit systems, transit connections to all of the systems within the corridor. And then for amenities, I have included hundreds of different amenities such as restaurants, hospitals, bicycle facilities, which the feedback I received from Adventure Cycling was it was the largest list they've ever received. So kind of puzzling on that. But they suggested or stated that they would like to review the comments, take more time in doing that, and review the route and provide more proper feedback. So since we received that email, we have sent an email asking if we could see the public comments. The first one, no response. The second one was sent, again, no response. So right now, we do not know, how many public comments were received and what the public comments are. So we're hoping that we do get a chance to hear that and to see what was actually said. I'd like to remind everyone that this effort started in late 2018. The route was actually drawn up in 2019 around this time, and it was given to NDOT. And late 2019, the local communities, specifically Tippecanoe County, Lafayette, West Lafayette, and Battleground, actually sent their letters of support. So we're still rather puzzled, but we're hoping to figure this out and continue the effort forward. So that's kind of an update of what's going on. Any comments and questions? Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you for that. The next item is the 18-month letting list. Doug, you're still up for that?
First off, I'd like to start with the bid letting results. The first project on US 52, auxiliary lanes, it was awarded to Milestone. And within Tippecanoe County, there will be left turn lane improvements at 450 East and Dale Drive, at 800 South, at 900 South, and both the north and south junction of State Road 28. The estimated completion date for that contract is May 30th of 2025. For the second project on State Road 28, there were no bidders, so it has been moved to October 12th of 2023. For the third project, the district-wide ITS Traveler Information System, that project was awarded, and the estimated completion date is October 31st of 2025. There will be several locations in Tippecanoe County for this, both north and southbound Message boards will be installed near Swisher Road, just to the southeast of State Road 43. And one will be installed on the southbound lanes north of State Road 28. Of course, the northbound lanes will be installed to the southeast of our county. And then for the last project there, the traffic signal modernization project, that will only be occurring at one intersection within Tippecanoe County, and that is at US 52 and Brady Lane. Exciting thing is that looking at the plans, a pedestrian crossing will be installed on the north side of the intersection. So exciting news for that. Going back to the list, pointing out project number 8, Morehouse Road, on a November 15th bid letting. Project 10, the scour protection, that will be occurring sometime in 2024. Not sure at this time when. For project 11, the letting is in December of 2023, mostly because of clearing of trees. And then the last one I'd like to point out, or actually one of the last ones I'd like to point out, project 13, a noise abatement project. This is a new one. It's on the January 2024 letting. And then to everyone's excitement, on the second page, project 19, on State Road 225, the truss reconstruction or repair targeted for July of 2024. And that's a summary of the 18-month letting list. Any comments, questions, or additional information?
What's the question?
The noise abatement project.
That is a repair project through our DamageWise program to the sound wall that was damaged with an accident. So this is our contract to repair that with the DamageWise program.
Thank you, Scott. When it comes to noise walls, NDOT has been treating them as if they're maintenance-free, so let's hope not too many get run into. We are talking about how to incorporate in asset management, what do we have, what condition they're in, how do we maintain when there are small problems. But up till now, MSC walls, when they came online, was similar. We started building them without the thought of how do we maintain and or repair long-term. And noise walls are starting to show up as they're starting to get some age, and we haven't treated them like an asset. So that's being talked about internally. And this is what helps bring it to our attention when there is damage. It's like, who owns that and how do we get it fixed? And we're not experts because we haven't had much damage with noise walls. MSC walls, we had issues and we've learned a lot. And we're doing a better job. We now have an inventory and we are inspecting. But not there yet on these noise walls. So that's just a little inside info, which is why I didn't know about it.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, thank you, Doug.
Great, thank you.
So this brings us to the end of the items on the agenda and up to the time to entertain any other business that anyone would bring to the committee. There appears to be none. The next thing is we have a space for citizen comments. Okay, there appear to be none. So we'll be done in short order. If I receive a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 So I declare this meeting adjourned, and we will reconvene on July 19th.